ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו לחיים. Ah, all right, folks, let's get right into the mimer, to the Hasidic discourse. So we're speaking about tshuva, someone who's a master of penitence, of return. And a tzaddik, a righteous person, who does everything the way he's meant to do it in the appropriate, right way. So they're not two different people. It's the same person, you and I, two different paths that we can incorporate in our lives. So, as we learned, that every individual who fulfills mitzvahs is called a tzaddik. It's called a righteous person. Why? Because the general mitzvahs are called tzedakah. When the Jerusalem Talmud says the word mitzvah, as a generality, it means tzedakah, means giving charity. The word tzedakah comes from the word tzedek, which means righteousness. It's an act of righteousness, as every mitzvah is, but specifically giving charity. Therefore, the person who does the mitzvah, any mitzvah, because the general mitzvah is called tzedakah, is a righteous person, is a tzaddik. Now, okay, that's like a play on the words, which we get, right? That's a play on the words, but how do we understand that in concept? Because remember, the difference, what a righteous person is that they've transformed themselves on the inside. Right? They don't have an animal soul. They've conquered it. Not like you and I, that we're in the middle of trying to conquer the animal soul or to not allow it to have its influence, which is called the scafia, to bend, not in its direction, away from its direction. But ishavcha means to actually total transformation. Well, we're not there. So then how do we understand it conceptually, this idea? How do we understand this philosophically? I haven't transformed myself. Well, no, you're right, not totally. But on some manner, every time we do a mitzvah, there is some kind of transformation. And hence, when we learn, we need to be aware, learn, do a mitzvah, that it's transformative. I'm still left to be a person who has, in my heart, desires that are not unto God, which therefore doesn't make me truly a righteous person. But since the mitzvahs are there to be a refinement, to create a refinement in the world, and the world begins in me, right? The world in me, so to speak. Therefore, there is on some specification, on some detail of me, something transformative. A refinement that I have the quality of the righteous, not the the title of being righteous. Right? That's what we have, the quality. So right now we're learning. We should be aware that in the mitzvah of learning Torah, or the mitzvah of prayer, the mitzvah of whatever it might be, that there is a refinement that takes place because mitzvahs were given to create a refinement in me and in the world, right? Like in the coffee, that you make a blessing on it and use it, with a mindfulness to connect to Hashem, give you more vitality, l'chaim. So on. There's a quality of refinement in some aspect of our lives that is transformative, even though not coming from a transformative place, meaning as the truly righteous have transformed their evil inclination, and now there's just, but goodness and holiness in their lives. So that's an important thing to make note. Continues the Rebbe in this mimer that was said in 1961, Kedoshim, to be holy, be great. And it connects this with what yesterday was Pesach Sheni, the second Passover, as explained by the Tzemach Tzedek, the third Lubavitcher Rebbe. What's the difference between the first Passover and the second Passover? Well, different months. First Passover, a month ago, it was in the month of Nisan. Second Passover, yesterday, in the month of Iyar. Now, second Passover, Pesach Sheni as it's called, is for those individuals who are distant from Jerusalem or were impure and weren't able the first time around to bring a Paschal Lamb offering because they're impurity, and you can't bring an offering in a state of impurity. So, or distant from and weren't able to make it. So metaphorically, this is the idea of being, distant from God and or impure, which is a distance from God, and you're getting what? A second chance. A second chance to make good, to connect, to do the mitzvah. That's why it's, the previous Rebbe said, there's no lost hope. You always get a second chance. And that's what second Pesach, the simple concept of it is. The second Passover, meaning the Passover lamb that was brought on the 14th of Nisan, on the eve of Passover. Again, in the times of the Holy Temple, if you didn't get an opportunity to do it, because, again, being distant from Jerusalem or impure, you get a second chance. Okay? That's the idea. So, but they're in two different months. So let's now understand the 2 months, what they are in relationship to the holiday in those months. So in the month of Nisan, which is the idea of going out of Egypt, because that's what happened exactly 1 month ago, 3,336 years. Imagine 3,000. Pinpoint to the day, 3,336 years ago, and a month, Jewish people went out of Egypt. A day less than a month, we offered the Paschal Lamb offering, right? So what is the month of Nisan? What is its general idea? That concept is going out of Egypt. What's the concept of Egypt? Egypt is a place of slavery, place of Pharaoh, who's the embodiment of evil. And you gotta leave the evil, run out of it, run out of Egypt. And we left quickly. And because we left quickly, the dough didn't rise, and we're not allowed to have chametz, something that rises, something that's haughty. You know why? Because we're running from our evil. Egypt is the embodiment of evil, which is the embodiment of evil in us that we have to run away from. Running away means what? Well, that means you didn't transform yourself because you got to run away from the evil in you, not outside of you, inside of us. And running away, therefore, is the concept of iskafia, bending ourselves that we shouldn't be following our negativity, our evil inclination, the animal soul. That's the concept of going out of Egypt. And therefore, there's that concept every day we have to go out of Egypt. Chaim, going out of Egypt. What is the month of Iyar, the month we're in now? That is a different kind of divine service. It's not a skafia. It's not bending ourselves because the evil's there and we got to, run away from it. Negative thought comes in, push it away, right? You want to say something that's not nice, bite your tongue. What does that mean? It means you're bending yourself because there's something negative there. Not allowing it to control you. The month of Iyar, though, is Avodah, is a divine service of a hafkat, transformation. Right. As explained by the Alter Rebbe, as he explains this idea, where it originates from, right? That on the first of the month, of the second month, going out of Egypt, that the first divine service is not transformation. First divine service is go out of Egypt. That's the first thing. You have to bend yourself from the sitra acher, the negative side. We have negativity. And we have to bend meaning here, not allowing it to take hold in me. I bend myself away from it. I remove myself from it. It's still there, but I don't think it, I don't say it, and I don't do it. That's the first Avodah, right? Chodesh Harishain, in the first month. Chodesh Hasheni is the second Avodah, the second divine service. Second divine service is, okay, let's transform now. Right? Let's go to the higher level. Let's get rid of it inside of us. Right? That's the concept, talking about what it represents. And so that is hisavcha, transformation. Now, how does that, okay, we get it that it's Chodesh Hasheni, but how does it express itself with what goes on in the month? In the month of Nisan, we understand how it expresses itself because that's going out of Egypt. Egypt is the embodiment of negativity, of evil. The evil, not outside of me, again, in me. The embodiment, the way it's in me, and I gotta leave quickly. I gotta run out from Egypt, right? So what is the second month? How is it embodied in what the second month is all about? Well, what's the second month? The primary um, engagement of the second month is it's 30 days, every single day of Sirius Aimer, of counting the Aimer. In Nisan, we have a part of the month. In Sivan, we have a few days in the month. We have 5 days in the month that we count. Here, the month of Iyar we're in now, Adita is the 30th day. Or last time was the 30th count. I forgot to count. And what is this idea of counting the Aimer? What is the concept? What is its it is about refinement of our excuse me. Sorry. It's about a refinement of my midas, of my emotional makeup, that I have to transform them into holiness. Right? That's the concept. In other words, today is Gvura Shebe Hoid, Gvura, refrain, restrain in humility. Which might express itself or strength in humility. Actually, might be a better the refrain strength, which might be about that quality in me that when I'm being challenged by somebody, that they said something nasty to me. But I'm giving by way of example. I'm strong in my humility. I'm not weakened by what that person has said. I'm strong in my humility. That I'm able to take, and it doesn't, I take the message I should take, and I let go of what the message I shouldn't take. I take, that these are words I'm meant to hear, and take it as a something to grow from. That's strong humility. That's being strong in your humility. And that's also strength means gvura, means to be able to differentiate between, the negativity of the person who said something to me and don't absorb that, and the things that I should take from what the person said and allow that to be absorbed. Right? That message that to be absorbed. That takes strength. That takes real strength. So I'm just giving you a way of example of that is today. The message for today, well, a message for today at least, of the midah that we are refining, that attribute, that quality of me that I am refining and in a manner of transformative to bringing it to holiness, to kedusha, right? Which is itzravcha, transformative. That's the idea of Sur Seimer. Now we can tie this in with the actual laws of Pesach and the laws of the second Passover, right? So the first Pesach, we're not allowed to have chametz. right? Not only not allowed to eat leavened bread, but you can't even own it. Why? Because what does chametz represent? The negativity in me, the pride in me, right? It's that wonder bread. It's more air than it is actual bread. Meaning, metaphorically, more the air of arrogance that a person has than substance. That's the first base of. That's bread, right? That's the concept of chametz. And we're not allowed to own it. Why? Because chametz, representing that negativity, is something that I have not refined, and therefore I cannot keep the chametz in me. I can't own it. And that's the idea of running away from the evil. I can't own it. I have to be careful with it. We're so careful with it that we don't even put water on it, on our matzah, because it may come chametz, right? Gebraks. Pesach Sheni in the month of Iyar, though, the second level, right? The second month, second level, is already we went out of the evil, right? We've been transformed. And as a result, guess what? Yesterday, Pesach Sheni was Pesach Sheni. You could eat chametz and matzah. That's the customs, chametz and matzah. Because chametz is now not something that we have to be careful with, that we are fearful that it's going to be negative. Why? Because we've counted the Omer. And now we've transformed that within us. L'chaim. Amazing. Second month, first month, what goes into the month, and all the things and how they tie in, and how it's just a metaphor. As Chassidus explains it in our divine service, in the 2 months, 2 levels, 2 paths, that of the Bal Tshuva, who's running away from negativity. That's what Tshuva is, right? And the tzaddik, and we have both qualities in us, and we will continue our conversation, our farbringen, our learning, God willing. Oh, yes. Okay. We'll see you shortly by Chumash Rashi.